All right. So this quiz was a repeat of last week's quiz, just different numbers, different item that we're looking at. Okay. Um, if you are having troubles, if you turn in a blank piece of paper, okay, right now is about the time that we need to start reevaluating your study habits. Okay. Because you're not going to learn everything that you can learn in this class. In the hour and 15 minutes that I have with you on Mondays and Wednesdays is not enough time for me to teach you what you need to know. Okay. We can go over some information and I can hit some highlighted information, but it is going to require that you study at home. Okay. If for whatever reason you're having issues with um, if for whatever reason you're having issues with a particular topic, there's a recorded video for that. Okay. You need to go back and take the initiative and you need to go back and rewatch things. You're not going to learn it in an hour and 15 minutes on Mondays and Wednesdays. Okay. The project is almost exclusively done outside of class. There will be some class periods where it will be independent study. And what that means is independent study is where you are working at home. You don't have to come to class. Now, sometimes independent study will be at a time where I'm at a conference, so we won't have a class. But there will be other opportunities where I will be here. And although it's independent study, you will have the option to come into class and I can help you work on your project. Okay. I can't be there and say, okay, you need to come in and work on the project. Okay. You need to take the initiative. And if you need help, log into my office hours. If my office hours don't work for you, I've said it from day one. Please email me so we can set up an appointment and we can set up a time. But at this point in the semester, 5 weeks in, and this is now the second time that we've done an assignment like this, if you turn in a blank piece of paper, we need to figure out what study habits you have and how we can improve those. And if you need help, please come find me, come ask me. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you be successful. I know this information, and I know this information can be tricky if you're just learning it. But once you learn it, I guarantee you, once you learn it, you'll never forget it. Okay. And it may take you 50 times to do it, to learn it. It may take you 100 times, but on that 101st time, when you finally get it, when it actually clicks, then you'll never lose it. Okay. So let's go over this again. I'm recording this session. So if you turn in a blank piece of paper, it is on you to go back and look at and watch how we did this. Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns so far? All right. So let's take a look. We've got a cupcake that has 3 ingredients: a cupcake, frosting, and sprinkles. Okay. So close that. First thing is our cupcake. Our as purchased price for cupcakes was $77.99 for one case, which equals 144 cupcakes. Okay. And so AP to recipe, I need one cupcake for my recipe. My as purchased, $77.99 divided by 144 cupcakes equals 0.54 something, 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 which means we're going to round it up to 55 cents for one cupcake. I multiply it by 1, and I get 55 cents. Okay? You did 54 cents. I'm going to count it wrong this time. Okay? In your quizzes for the project, which I'm going to show you before we end class today, I do give a margin of error. So there is a margin of error of plus or minus 2 to 5 cents, depending on the ingredient. And so in this case, if you were doing this quiz online, it would probably count it correct. But I want you to get into the habit of rounding up to the nearest penny. Okay. Our frosting, the as purchased price was 13 pounds of frosting for $22 or $28.46. Okay, bless you. So we have AP to recipe. My recipe is 2 ounces of frosting, $28.46 for 13 pounds. Do my units match? No, ounces and pounds, they do not. So how do I get ounces to pounds? How do I convert these two numbers? Do I convert the pounds to ounces or do I convert the ounces to pounds? What do we want to do? Pounds to ounces, okay? We want to go pounds to ounces. So 13 pounds times 16 ounces is equal to 208 ounces. Okay. So I divide 2846. Instead, I divide it by 208 ounces. And I get, let me double check my work. 2846 divided by 208, 13.6. So that becomes 14 cents. So 14 cents per ounce. And then I multiply it by 2 ounces, 28 cents. Okay. Finally, the sprinkles. We get 32 servings for one container of $1.88. Okay. So $1.88 divided by 32 servings is 6 cents. We're going to run that up to 6 cents. Okay. So 55, 28, oops. 89 cents for our cupcake is what we're looking at. Total cost, 89 cents. Okay. Now, if we sell that cupcake for $4.45, we use our triangle. Cost percent sales. Our sales number is $4.45. Divide those two and we get what? 20%. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns? There's no questions, there's no comments, there's no concerns. Now is your time to ask a question. We'll have plenty of chances later too, but while it's up on the board before I erase it. Why is this process, why is understanding this process important to know? So we know how much our items cost. Okay, good. Why is it important to know how much your items cost? So you what? Okay, so we want to make sure if we know our cupcake costs 89 cents and I'm going to produce 100 cupcakes, I know it's going to cost me about $89, right? At the end of the day, if I prepare 100 cupcakes and it costs me $95, then I know that I went wrong somewhere. I spent more money than I should have spent. But if I don't know that it costs 89 cents to begin with, does it matter if I spend $95 to prepare 100 cupcakes? Does it? I'm not probably going to be in business for very long because I can't keep my costs under control. Why else is it important to know this process?
Know how much you're going to sell it for.
Exactly. How do we know we were going to sell it for $4.45? Okay. And if I make a cupcake, how many of you would buy a cupcake for $4.45? It better be a good cupcake, right? If it's not a good cupcake, I'm probably not going to pay $4.45 for it. And so we go back to what we talked about in chapter 3, about that price value relationship. Okay. That's at a 20% food cost. Maybe whatever reason that 20% is too high, we need to bring that down to bring our cost, our selling price down. But am I just going to sell cupcakes? What else might I sell? Cake, like whole cakes. Okay, good. What else might I sell? Pastries. What area of our menu that we talked about in chapter 4 brings us the most amount of profit? What's that? Nope, not the entree. The entree usually brings us the least amount of profit because it costs us the most to make. The beverages. So if my cupcake doesn't bring in very much profit, maybe I'll pair it with a coffee that can bring in more profit. Maybe I'll pair it with a soda or a bottle of water, right? And so selling those beverages is where we'll be able to make up some of the extra money if we are not making up money on the actual item itself. That's why it's important for us to sell beverages with our entrees, to sell desserts, because desserts don't typically cost that much compared to the entree, but we sell them for a higher price. That's why a lot of times if something goes wrong in a restaurant, what's one of the first things they offer you complimentary to make up for it? Dessert, right? You think you're getting an $8 dessert, but in reality, does it cost them $8? No, maybe it costs them a couple bucks, but you walk away as a guest happy because you think, wow, they took care of me. They took care of me and they gave me a free dessert that costs $8. Well, no, it cost them a couple bucks versus canceling out a steak on the off of the check, which costs a lot more money, right? It's important that you know all this information because you could be the most amazing pastry chef, you could be the most amazing chef, but if you can't keep your costs under control, you're not going to be in business for very long. Okay? Questions, comments, concerns? All right.